Hello everyone, this video is about playing spiccato or playing off the string with viola da gamba. Now, when playing the cello or the violin, this technique is a mandatory part of the repertoire. But somehow with the viola da gamba, there aren't many sources about it. I want to show you my approach. I know there is already an excellent video by Vittorio. I will put the link right here, but I have a different approach and I want to show you two of my methods. So the two methods are quite different. The first one is more commonly used, I think, and the other perhaps is my own thing. So I would actually like to know if anyone else does it. So we have to understand first that spiccato means that we are using the potential energy from the bow and from the string. And the reason that it is very common on the cello and on the violin, especially the modern ones, is because they have lots of tension on the strings. And so it is very easy to make everything bounce. However, on the viola da gamba, not so much. So we have to use things a bit differently. Also, the grip is obviously different. So as you should know, mostly when we produce any sound, we first use pressure on the middle finger and then we release it. So this gives already this articulation and a bit of jumpiness to the sound. Ta and not just ha. So we can perhaps divide 3 levels of jumpiness to the bow using this regular technique. First level is sort of legato, and if we're playing it fast, it will be staccato. But if playing too fast, you get all these krechts and it's not a pleasant sound and not a powerful sound, so not very useful. So we do need to let the string vibrate a bit more. And to do that, we have to release the bow right after we release the finger. But not entirely, but like a little small bounce. So, but then to get back. And the third level is not playing from the string in the first place, but to be somewhat on the air. I now want to demonstrate using the third level with the Viola da Gamba Sonata by Handel in C major. It has this section there with repeating notes. So it goes like this. Okay, so let's move on to the second method. It is sort of based on a drumming technique. If you've ever seen jazz players, they hold the stick on what we call traditional grip. So it's very similar to the undergrip of the viola da gamba. And the jazz players use a rotational movement of the wrist, but sometimes even the thumb itself. And then the bounce of the stick comes naturally from the impact on the drum. So similarly, we can do this with the bow. If we are putting pressure, we can put more pressure with the tilt of the wrist inwards and getting off pressure by tilting the wrist out. And then we can have this kind of movement. There are two advantages to this technique, even though it's a bit harder to control. First, the rotational movement is healthier to the wrist because the back and forth movement might exhaust the wrist here, and in my experience it's almost limitless. You can do this all day and everything will be okay. And secondly, it adds more strength to the stroke. Rather than... Now, if we are using this method from the air, it will be very bouncy. I want to play for you again the Sonata by Handel, the same section, and you'll see it's a bit more fun with this method. Now it's more articulate and also it's a bit more fun because especially the ending, if it's too sustained, it sounds too dramatic. I mean, it's simply like a little rhythm. It has no musical importance. And if you, I mean, the musical importance is the fun of it, and you lose it. So using this pressure, if you're only using the finger, it's a bit soft. But with the drumming method, you get much more power. And I think this is very useful for these kind of things. Also, if you want to be like really articulate, you can make it extreme. Not for this case, but for other cases perhaps. And that is it. I hope this video was useful and let me know what you think.